Now, Richard Viguerie says the Republican Party is in a war. And he says it's a war that's gone on for over 100 years. He has a new book out that will interest you. It's called Takeover, the 100-Year War for the Soul of the GOP and How Conservatives Can Finally Win It. Richard Viguerie, welcome to America's Forum.
Thank you, J.D. Always good to be with you.
It is a great honor to have you, sir, and I really want to get into this war for the Republican Party. Is it just a variation on a theme that has gone on for the better part of a century, or I think back really to the 1960s, the Eastern elites versus the Sun Belt Republicans, or has it taken on a new kind of conflict between conservatives and moderates?
Well, it may be new, J.D., in the sense that conservatives are really poised, I think, to take back the Republican Party. They began to lose the Republican Party literally 102 years ago when Teddy Roosevelt, in his effort to get the Republican nomination when he failed in 1912, he started the Boom Moose Party and split the Republican vote, allowing Woodrow Wilson to become president with less than 42% of the vote. And we've been battling that wing of the party ever since. And sometimes our opponents look like Teddy Roosevelt. Others it's Alf Landon and Wendell Willkie or Tom Dewey or Nixon or Ford or Bob Dole or John McCain, Mitt Romney. And it just goes on and on and on. And we as conservatives have not realized we are in a civil war. And you're not likely to win a war you're not aware you're in. So in essence, what I'm saying is we have had, as conservatives, limited government, constitutional conservatives, we've had our political guns pointed at the wrong target. We've been focused primarily on Nancy Pelosi types, Harry Reid, Barack Obama, all wrong, because we're like the biblical Jews who could not get to the promised land until that generation of failed, flawed leaders had passed from the scene. And we're not going to get to the political promised land until we get new leaders. And so until we focus on the problem, which is inside the Republican Party, that's where conservatives operate. We operate in the Republican Party. I don't myself consider myself a Republican. I'm a conservative that operates in the Republican Party. But the voters at J.D. don't like Republican leaders. And in my lifetime, which is a long time, we Republicans, or Republicans I should say, not myself, have had four big victories, only four. 1980 with Reagan, 1984 Reagan's re-election, 1994 Gingrich's contract with America, 2010. Big victories, all led by conservatives. But whenever you put the Bob Doles, the George Bushes, the Mitt Romneys up there, voters don't like them, and they just reject them. So if we're going to govern America, we're going to have to elect conservatives. And I paraphrase James Carville, who in 1992 ad nauseum said, "It's the economy stupid, it's the economy stupid." I say to conservatives, it's the primaries stupid, it's the primaries.
So the key for conservatives to organize and to compete and not be so willing to be compliant with establishment republicanism. But you know, Richard, even as you're making the arguments, with which I happen to agree greatly, I can almost hear the litany of the commentators and those in the establishment wing of the party saying, whoa, look, we don't need to form a circular firing squad. I mean, it's tough enough against the press, and when Republicans are fighting Republicans, it doesn't help anybody. How do you respond to that almost knee-jerk reaction of the establishment?
Yeah, I heard an establishment Republican this weekend say to me over and over, we should be involved in addition and multiplication, not division and subtraction. You know, that means let us keep what we've got. We've got the leadership, and so don't y'all distract us. Get on the bus, sit in the back, and leave the driving to us. You know, well, it hasn't worked for us. How's it work for America to be led by these big government Republicans? And voters have rejected them, election in and election out. And if we're going to win, we're going to have to put conservatives as the face of the opposition to the Democrats. Because as I just said, only 4 times have Republicans had big victories. In 2006, JD, 2008, Republicans lost the Congress. They lost the White House. In my opinion, having nothing to do with Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Barack Obama, had everything to do with the failed, corrupt, immoral leadership of the Karl Roves, the George Bushes, the Denny Hastrits, Bill Frist, John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, Eric Cantors of the world. People don't like them. But in 2010, the face of the opposition to the Democrats is not Rove and Bush, etc. It is the Tea Party. It is Rush Limbaugh, Hannity, Levin. It is Rand Paul, Marco Rubio, Mike Lee. People like them and gave the Republicans their biggest congressional victory in 75 or 80 years.
Well, Richard, of course, you worked closely with Ronald Reagan, and those elections made history, as you pointed out. And I was pleased, incidentally, to hear you talk about our victory in '94, in which I had a chance to go serve in the Congress for 6 terms. But as we look now, both to the midterms and on to the presidential election, is there a Reagan-esque conservative? Who do you think emerges for 2016?
Jenny, here's my thinking. I kind of have a different take on it than a lot of my conservative friends. There's some wonderful conservatives in the Congress. I love, admire, respect them. But in 2016, the Democrats are almost certain to nominate a Washington insider, Hillary Clinton. And as a marketer, and that's what I do and have for over 50 years, run a marketing company, you want to position your product opposite the competition. So I think what conservatives need to do is not look for their candidate in Washington, D.C. We all know how low in the opinion of the American people Congress is. So go to the states, and there's some wonderful people in the states. Governors Mike Pence, Scott Walker, Rick Perry, Bobby Jindal, and others out there. And I think we should look to the states for a candidate in 2016. Now, having said that, there is a group out there that is not part of the Republican voting coalition, but we need to bring them on board to really make sure we're in a position to govern
And we
America.
have to get those committed conservatives who stepped away from the party. We're going to have to leave it there, Richard Viguerie. I look forward to reading your book, Takeover, The 100-Year War for the Soul of the GOP and How Conservatives Can Finally Win It. Richard Viguerie, we thank you for your time. America's Forum will continue after this.